Welcome, everybody. This is Spencer Patton with Route Consultant. We have a special edition Zoom webinar feature with Farjad Fani. He is with Route Elite, and we are excited to have him here today. I don't know a ton about Route Elite, relatively new to the space, new to being a FedEx contractor overall, but has a really cool product that I want you all to see. So Farjad, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, introduce your product, and then we're going to see some screen share of what you have, but I'd love to hear about your backstory a little bit. So welcome.
Sure. So I'm Farjad, the founder of routeelite.com. And my quick background story is the fact that I got involved in this business just over a year ago, last July. And from then on, I took over one entity that was failing, fixed that entity within 6 weeks, hired about 50 drivers, started giving all those drivers to other contractors. The station loved it, the contractors loved it. And then I literally within a few weeks, I started doing contingency in another station. And in January, I took over another failing entity. In March, I took over another entity. In April, I took over another entity. So I've been through thick and thin. I've only been at it for a year, but I've seen a lot about all the challenges that we as CSPs go through. And routeelite.com's mission really is to help contractors actually be successful. And my goal, my mission is to allow contractors to actually decide to stick around in this business for many, many, many years to come, as opposed to selling and getting out on a shorter time span.
Yeah. Farjad, you sound like a man after my own heart, in that, my first year of FedEx Ground contracting, I did 5 acquisitions in the first 18 months or so of me becoming a contractor. And it's almost like once you start to see the power of contingency and start to see how powerful it is when you can buy a business first, that I tell people, I'd rather see you pay a fair price for an outstanding business. And then your next businesses, make them dumpster fires, right? You can have those be turnarounds and awful situations you have to dig out of. So I can appreciate that. When you think about Route Elite, help distinguish that for me in real terms of what you provide versus other people in the space. So help me understand what it is and what the product features, if you would.
Sure. So this business, as everybody by now knows, is what we call nonlinear workflow. As in, there's you do A and then you jump to B or C or J and K. It's constantly up and down, left and right. Nothing is in a straight line. So what we've done is we've basically made that into a linear workflow. So we start at the very top, which is about recruiting. So we manage all of your recruiting, whether it's Indeed.com, Craigslist, Simply Hired, or any of the other ones that might be regional. And we schedule the interviews. And we also process them entirely throughout the First Advantage program. With First Advantage, as difficult as it is, we have people that stay on the phone for 45 minutes. It's literally a department called hand-holding department. We hold their hand, it's ensuring they actually fill out those forms properly. And then at the right time, when we have actually passed them through First Advantage, we actually not just give them to you and we say, here's the person. We actually have fully integrated everything into your payroll. We've automatically enrolled them into scheduling. You see everything at the right time, at the right place, with the right context. So we don't just give it to you and be like, go. And then, of course, on top of that, we manage your vehicles, we manage your monthly maintenance report. One of the coolest things we've done with monthly maintenance report is, or just the maintenance is, drivers refuse to log into softwares, right? And we actually don't believe in usernames and passwords for drivers. So we actually have a concept called a global maintenance dispatcher. It's just a simple phone number. All of your drivers basically send us a text message. We take that text message and we create a maintenance for your mechanic, for yourself, or your drivers, or your managers. We do the same thing when your mechanic completes a task. So he just sends us a text saying, I bought 5 tires, let's show up, here's the receipt. We automatically take that, put it into your receipt, and we automatically put that onto your monthly maintenance report. we essentially are here to ensure success. At no point do we allow anything to fall through the crack. One thing that is really, really powerful for some clients is if you've seen the movie Batman, Bruce Willis,
Yeah.
he's got the most amazing butler, Alfred. And we actually have a department called alfred@routelite.com. So at all times, you can send us a receipt, you can send us maintenance request, you can say, update this child support, dismiss this person, give this guy a $10 reimbursement, here's the gas, here's the donut. And that's really the most difficult thing in this business, where the owners and the BCs are never sitting down in front of a computer. They're always on the road. So we've simplified it so much to the point where you just can't not do it, right? So it's payroll, it's Alfred, it's maintenance, it's monthly maintenance report. We do exit interviews. So, one of the biggest challenges in this business is if you become a multiple CSA concept, your manager will tell you why people are quitting, but rarely are they actually telling you the full truth. So doing exit interviews with zero input from you ensures that you actually know what might be going wrong in your company, so you can jump in and fix it before things really go downhill. So that's a little bit of an overall philosophy.
How, that sounds like a lot of different roles and tasks that you perform. How many employees, how do you do that in your organization? Like, because it seems like the number of people that I have to have deployed on stuff like that, I can only imagine if you're doing this for a bunch of contractors. How does your business handle that? How do you scale?
Sure. So the crazy thing about this business is a lot of CSPs, they go out there and hire an assistant. I have a client that spends $270,000 on assistants, does $11 million a year, and he's like, Farjad, I'm ready to burn down my entire company. I'm paying $270,000 a year on assistants, and things are constantly falling through the crack. And that's because it's a very difficult business if not everything talks to each other properly. So as a company, we have a total of 55 employees at routelite.com, and everything is fully departmentalized with managers on top of each department, of course. Now, all of that can really only work when we have routelite.com. Without routelite.com, I could give you 5 executive assistants, and you still won't be able to succeed because nothing really talks to each other. So routelite.com not only centralizes everything, but it actually allows everything to be fully collaborative. And for bigger CSPs, the ones that have 3, 4, 5 or more, we actually provide full-time executive assistants. As in, we train them, we mentor them, we manage them, we guide them. Every single day they report to us and the client and their managers. So the manager gets to talk to the assistant or Alfred, depending on your CSA size. And this software ensures nothing actually falls through the crack. There is significant amount of intelligent automations that have been built into the program to ensure that just nothing falls through the crack. The biggest thing in this business, I have a client that says, we're no longer a distribution company or a delivery company. All of a sudden, we're a compliance company, where there's so much we have to do, especially on the payroll section. At the payroll section, we ensure at no point do you ever make a mistake. One of the golden rules that you always talk about, and I fully believe in, is vehicles that are over 10,000 pounds.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal strategy. That one, in Washington, it doesn't apply. Washington has vetoed the Department of Transportation.
Yeah.
But some of the other CSPs, they have like 50 vehicles, but 2 of them are under 10,000. What do they do with that? In our software, we catch anybody that shouldn't be driving that vehicle on a week basis. So if the wrong driver ends up driving the wrong vehicle, we ensure that person actually gets paid overtime. So that when it comes time for compliance, you don't actually have to lose sleep because everything is documented. And the software really just does a phenomenal job ensuring nothing ever falls through the cracks. So 55 people, but the brain behind the operation really is the software. Because without Rattlely.com, I agree with you, it would be an absolutely impossible task to accomplish.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can take a minute and just do a screen share with us and show us one or two screens of just what the software looks like. So that way we can lay eyes on it and just understand with our own perspective here. You can show us anything that you'd like here on the screen, and maybe just make sure you get through 2 slides or so. So take maybe 30 or 45 seconds to show us this slide and one more.
Okay, sounds good. So this is my real company last week. If I just click on last week, which I have. So the payroll summary is something that actually automatically happens when you go to sleep. So you go to sleep, we bring in the data from FCC, we bring the data from DSW, and we match everything against your scheduling. So the cool thing is your management team gets to actually have a target to hit. And most owners, they usually know that they ran over their payroll budget on the day they're running payroll. This essentially prevents that, but it allows the management team to have control over that concept. So this basically shows how much I want to spend per stop. And amazingly enough, on this specific week, my team literally nailed it. It doesn't happen every week like this, but it actually is something that allows them to fully control. On the left hand, you have people that you actually have to pay attention to. There might be something unique going on that you should be aware. So if I click on this person as an example, not on schedule, no DSW, what this does is it's going to filter it to that specific person. So if I scroll down, it actually tags that very specific day. So in this case, I can see this person wasn't scheduled to work and he didn't do any stops, but he got paid. Now, that's something for you to be aware of, right? Now, there are multiple other filters. So in this case, not on schedule, yes, DSW. What that means is basically somebody wasn't scheduled to work, but they actually showed up to work. Very likely, if that's happening week after week, or if it's happening too much, you're very much running a very chaotic operation. So you should jump in and guide and mentor your people. And at all times, the software is tracking everybody's daily rate, discretionary bonuses, non-discretionary bonuses. And the cool thing is, it actually breaks it down specific to how the Department of Labor and how FedEx wants to see this. So if I actually export, I got to show all so that it actually exports the whole thing. 1 second. So if I actually export the full payroll, if anybody went over 40 hours, the software is intelligent enough, as long as they qualify for overtime. So let's see if anybody's, look, this guy, Elias Green, has gone overtime. The cool thing is, we only promised this guy $1,000, but because he went overtime, the software automatically breaks it down to the regular hourly rates. It breaks it down to the overtime regular hourly rates, and it actually calculates what you must pay him to essentially pass your audits. So you promised him $1,000, but you better pay him $1,048.38. And that $48.38 is the distinction between OTC or passing an audit. So the payroll concept is extremely, extremely powerful. There are way too much in this software that I can present. And I'm happy to present a full demo to anybody at any time. But I think that just talks about the payroll just a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's great. And just as we wrap, because I know we could spend forever here, and I think the mindset is to show people that, hey, there's a lot of powerful tools here, and you can just see all of those tabs that were on the side there of all the different things that you cover. So can you hit pricing for a moment, just as our last thing, and then how people can reach out to you? Those two would be great.
Sure. So depending on the size of the CSA you have, and depending how many CSAs you have and how get to work together. I understand the fact that as FedEx owners, our margins are very thin, obviously. So pricing starts at $500 a month, and it can go up to depending on how many CSAs and how big of a CSA you have. And as far as how to get a hold of us, just go to routeelite.com and just schedule the demo, request a demo, and I will personally be the one that actually presents that demo and actually goes over everything with you.
That's cool. Farshad, thank you for being here. I appreciate particularly contractors, current contractors doing things to support other current contractors. That's our heartbeat at Route Consultant as a current contractor, trying to make it better for all of us. Thank you for operating in that same spirit, and I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.